With his 137th international goal. 40 years old, Ale, still having an impact for his Portugal side.
Absolutely he is. And there's no denying that you score the game winner in a semi-final. You should be praised. And indeed, this is your position now. Cristiano Ronaldo is not a guy that goes out wide or drops underneath. He is a center forward. And what is a center forward supposed to do? Well, you can ask Jurgen Klinsmann. It's scoring goals. Scoring goals. And even if it is tap-ins, you have to be there in order to score them. He was there to receive the pass from Nuno Mendes. But I think if we focus on Cristiano Ronaldo's, we're making a huge, huge mistake. You got to see the totality of Portugal and appreciate how good of a team this is and how good of a team they can be. And especially and particularly one of Frank's boys, when Vitinha gets on the field, this team becomes something different entirely. They were good in the first half. Vitinha comes on the field in the second half. They became dominant, and Germany were having a really difficult time hanging on.
Yeah, but coming back to on Ronaldo, I've been watching him a lot from past games before, and thinking that he was kind of a weight for the team. Today wasn't. Today was sharp. I love the way he was playing, the way he was helping out his teammates. I find him like very good, physically sharp, and somebody who made the difference for his team. It's true that when Conceição and Vitinha came on, it was a different Portugal. The pace of the game, how they controlled the game was absolutely different for me.
Yeah, you may have seen that Jan Fjørtoft and Jurgen Klinsmann have joined us. Jurgen, let me get word from you on what we're seeing from Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, I totally agree with all of you. I mean, this is just exceptional. I mean, what he's producing, what he's doing, obviously 40 years old, and it seems he's not getting old at all. He put himself into the service of the team. He came back, he helped out, he's trying to connect with his teammates. So this is a real leader, no matter now what his age is. And obviously, once he's in the box, he's one of the best finishers still in the world. He can make a difference anytime. But it's his attitude that makes that huge difference. Because if he keeps his teammates positive with him, if he can deliver kind of his work to the team, then there's no doubt about it that he can still play on, that he can play, obviously, this summer, he play next year's World Cup in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So this is just simply incredible. Obviously, we lost a little bit sight of him since he went to Saudi Arabia. But even there, he delivers, he does his job, he's there for his team. And similar to what we've seen in Qatar at the World Cup with Messi, at a later stage, he cashes in with all his trophies, 2 Copa Americas, and then the World Cup. He's still ready to cash in, maybe next summer at the World Cup with his Portugal team, which is, as you said, it's a very, very exceptional Portuguese side.
Yes, and Jan, there are many still that would suggest that Cristiano Ronaldo shouldn't even be in this Portugal team anymore.
Yeah, who are they? Put them on a place. Show them to me. This guy, just put on the records. I mean, first of all, Portugal had 2 players from the Saudi League today, which is quite interesting. And secondly, I'm with Frank. I liked his movements today. I liked the way he found his position a couple of 3 times when you saw the run of the old Cristiano Ronaldo. But he's 40, but he's still doing the job. And we also have to praise the national coach of Portugal that he finds his role in there. And yes, you can see on the bench, and you can see today as well, they got even better when they come, because new players come on the pitch. But hello, he's got 137 goals, 137. When I grew up, when there was a football player scoring 37 goals for their country, that was sensational. And this guy got 220 caps for them. And Jurgen, you said that he will play in the USA next year. He will probably play in Saudi Arabia in 2034, this man. It's unbelievable what the guy is doing.
Now, Jan just mentioned Roberto Martinez, and I think it's important that we highlight something that was very clear in this game. One of the things that we're concerned about when we see Cristiano Ronaldo leading the line for Portugal is he going to be able to press defenders? Is he going to be able to chase defenders? Is he going to do the job that, for example, Dembele was doing for PSG and the Champions League final? Does he have that in his game? And the answer is no. But how do you go about resolving that issue if you're Roberto Martinez? Well, you put guys around him that are runners. So Trincao and Neto, they're the ones that are going to go press most of the time. And Ronaldo, basically what he's saying, or what he's trying to do, is shading the play one way, forcing it into the guys that are going to be able to press it. And so Neto will press down the left, Trincao will press down the right. And now you don't have freedom, if you're Germany in this case, to try to play the ball out of the back. But that has to be by design, knowing full well that you don't need Cristiano Ronaldo chasing around. You need Cristiano Ronaldo finishing the chances. This is who he is at this point in his career. It's important that the manager makes an assessment and change and adjustment, and certainly Roberto Martinez has done that.
Yes to 2026 for Cristiano Ronaldo World Cup?
Well, if he carries on like that, you know, and on top of it with the player that he has around him who can serve him, yes, of course, if he keeps the shape that he is in right now. I mean, again, I didn't see a 40-year-old guy today. I saw a guy sharp who could run, who can do that with his intelligence and his experience of the game. It wasn't like, that guy should get out. It was like 2 years ago, I would have said that because I felt that. He's in the game. Right now, there is nothing to complain about. And with the players like Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes, Conceição, even Silva and Mendes on the other side, he's going to be served. So he's going to carry on scoring goals. Yeah.
What about this Portuguese team, Jurgen, and what we can expect from them if they will be among the favourites next year? There's a lot of quality in this side.
Absolutely, there's a lot of quality in that side, and obviously the key for Roberto Martinez is always the chemistry. It's how to create a group that is will to go a long way in a World Cup, you know, which will be an incredible marathon next summer with 48 teams. So he has to gel these players together. He has to make them a group that believes in it, and it doesn't matter then the age of the players. It matters the characters. So if they are willed there to do the extra work, you know, to fight for one each other and yeah, go the extra mile, then the sky is the limit. I mean, there's so much young talent coming out of Portugal. It's not even funny. It's incredible. And so their win was totally deserved. I think Germany, they had the one or two occasions in the first half. Goretzka had the opportunity there to score maybe, and then after they scored the first goal, and they were just waiting on the reaction of the Portuguese team, and then Vitinha and Conceição came on, and they changed the entire game. You know, different pace, different rhythm, and different quality, and they turned it around. But I think this is really a team that no matter now how the final will end on Sunday, this is a team to count on for the World Cup next year in the US.
Jan, let's talk about Germany then. What more could Nagelsmann have done with this side today?
Well, it's a good question because there were some players who were absent, who wasn't there. But it just shows you that this is the second tournament, and the Germans have been very good and talk this tournament up. It's called a mini Euro. This is the place where they want to succeed. But this is the second time now that they have failed at a home tournament. And I was surprised when I saw how Germany reacted after that 1-0, because there were no, I don't know how to define it. There was no leadership out there. We have 1-0 now. Let's adjust now. Let's let them have the ball, but let's be good on the break. And as Jürgen was saying, they didn't create enough. We saw the Adeyemi. I had a feeling that both Diaz and Costa had the control out of that, even if they hit the post. So now Germany need to take the next step to be up there among the best. I think the two last tournaments have proved that, although there is an optimism around the German national team, which Nagelsmann have managed to do after he took over from Flick.
You know what? For the four team that we have in the semi-final, maybe Jürgen can tell us if there is a hope on that. Spain, France, and Portugal, they have young guys, young generation coming up and showing the difference and the craziness of their game. And of course, you have Lamine Yamal and so many other, Kubarsi and so many others in France, Doué, we see that. And in Portugal, with Conceição, Mendes is only 22 years old, Vitinha is still young. I don't see in Germany any young players coming up. Yeah, Wirtz, but...
Musiala?
Yeah, Musiala, but he wasn't there. But that's short for me. I don't know. Do the federation have prepared something to show us maybe a new generation of football players in Germany, Jürgen?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, obviously there's Florian Wirtz and Musiala. Musiala injured at the moment, and these two are the exception. They are fantastic when they play. You know, they can really terrorize an opponent and have high quality. But the issue we have, unfortunately, since a little while, is that there is no real leadership in the national team. So when things go wrong, you know, so when they today, Conceição, you know, equalized the game, there was nobody on the field that said, no, give me the ball now. I take care of it. I change the rhythm of the game. I do something different. And what was really a little bit of a worrying part was that not that they were only outplayed then by the Portuguese side the last half an hour, they also were outfighted by the Portuguese players. So Portugal was physically stronger. They were nastier. They did certain fouls also purposely, like at the end you could see when they had a little bit of a go at each other when there was this foul on Florian Wirtz in the midfield, which was a purpose foul. If you use their VAR, you have actually an argument for a red card. But it's a sign that Portugal wanted it just more. They were nastier. They were more physical. Besides all their, you know, obviously technical quality, and this is something that is a little bit worrying on that Germany side. Is, you know, okay, one thing is when you lead and when things go well, okay, then and everybody plays well. But when things go wrong, you know, so who is it now on that German side to take matters into his hands and is able to make a difference, a different play, a different. A different sign out there on the field. So the last 30 minutes, there was no German side, German team on the field that gave you really this kind of a feeling that they can turn things around.
I think, if I may say, Kay, I think that when I saw Portugal today, I got a bit Argentina vibe. They have the quality of technique, they're doing all the stuff, but I also have that toughness, this extra cynical kind of thing that I have to in the game. And I 100% with Jürgen, I don't see that at the German players. I don't see that in that team. And I think that to win a tournament, to win the World Cup 2026, you have to have that as well. You can't only live by your technique and your fancy moves.
Germany have a outside back, wing back problem on the right-hand side. Not because Joshua Kimmich cannot do the job, but because you miss out on what Joshua Kimmich can give you in the midfield. And because you don't have the presence of names like, let's go back in time for Germany, Hans-Peter Briegel. You don't have Thomas Berthold. You don't have Philipp Lahm. You don't have a player that can guarantee you that position there so that you then free up Joshua Kimmich to play in the midfield. Now, some of the criticism of Joshua Kimmich has been that he doesn't quite give you that leadership that is needed in Bayern Munich in that central position. Well, that's the same leadership that is missing in the central of midfield for Germany. And if you look around in this team, who is going to give you that? It has to be Joshua Kimmich. 100 caps for Germany, he has to be that presence in the middle of midfield. But because he's out there in the right back position or wing back, he doesn't really impact the game in the manner in which he should, especially in moments in which leadership is needed. You look at a guy like Pavlovic, as young and as talented as he may be, he doesn't stay with Nuno Mendes. That's irresponsible defending. It's a little give and go. He doesn't stay with his runner. If you look at the goal by Conceição, while it is a great finish, Pavlovic is late to recover. And Ronaldo takes Koch away with his run, and Pavlovic is nowhere to be found. So those are things that have to come from somebody with experience, with leadership, with presence that knows in this moment, the most important thing is we have to deny Portugal a scoring opportunity. Instead, Pavlovic is interested in playing little give and go action instead of defending. Again, you have a problem with your Nagelsmann because you don't have that right back position sorted out. You don't have quite the players or the names from the past to cover that position. So you sacrifice Kimmich to play out there, and then in turn you sacrifice what happens in the midfield.
What's your response to what Ale says there, Jürgen?
The response to?
To what Ale's saying
Ale?
about the problem that Nagelsmann has.
No, absolutely. I absolutely agree. This is the kind of how do you build a team towards a big competition like obviously next year's World Cup is, you know, who are your leaders? You know, who are your guys that step it up? You know, who are the ones that that show that toughness that is needed, because if you're not tough, if you're not nasty, you're not getting anywhere in the World Cup. You got to fight for every battle there. You fight for every ball. I mean, what is Portugal doing right now is a bit similar as Jan Agio and Frank said. It's similar to what Argentina did towards the World Cup in Qatar. They built their whole kind of aggressiveness and protection net towards Messi. Messi was protected. They made sure that Messi doesn't have to do much work, like with Ronaldo. But the other ones, they did extra work. They didn't not only do 100%, they went 110, 120%. And that's a team that is growing right now with Portugal, that they are willed to go the extra mile for the fact that they have a fantastic 40-year-old world-class player still in their team that can always make a difference in any moment of the game, and is also somebody that takes over responsibility when things go not the right way. And this is something that worries me with the German side is, okay, you have good players in good clubs, and they had their moments over the last couple of years. But when it really, really matters, you need somebody to step it up. And my generation was Lothar Matthäus, was the guy that, give me the ball now and I take care of things. And so every team needs these kind of one or two personality that can make the difference when things go wrong. And Germany don't have that personality right now. And even if Kimmich would come inside here with Alejandro, I agree. But even if he's inside, he's not the verbal leader. He's leading by example, by his passing game, and by his energy. But they need somebody here and there that opens the mouth, and says something, and maybe starts a fight out there, which they did at the end of the day. And Florian Wirtz was getting into it because there was body jacked in midfield, and he lost it a little bit, which is a good sign. But Florian Wirtz and Musiala are still too young when you look now towards the World Cup 2026 in America.
So it's Spain against France in the other semi-final in the Nations League tomorrow. The competition's two most recent winners. And I'm sorry to remind you of this, Frank, but Spain did beat France in the semis of Euro 2024. So how's this latest meeting going to go?
That we don't know, because I thought it was only two players playing. I thought it was Lamine Yamal against Ousmane Dembele. That's what I heard. And
oh, we'll get there. Don't you worry.
But we have maybe two of the biggest teams in the world confronting each other, and it's going to be a great game. I'm pretty sure that some Paris Saint-Germain player digested the win in the Champions League, and they are shaped like we saw the Portuguese players. It's going to be. We are looking forward to seeing that game because again the two teams are in very good state right now. The young players are absolutely fantastic, and I want to see how it's going to be coped by the defense. Because that's what it is. How you cope with Doué, Mbappé, and I don't know whoever is going to play, Barcola or some others, and the other side the same with Lamine Yamal and some others. So it's going to be very interesting to see how tactically.
You didn't mention Dembele, right? You didn't mention Dembele.
I didn't.
No, you mentioned Doué, you mentioned Mbappe, Barcola, and whoever else. I thought it was supposed to be Dembele and Yamal.
No, because Dembele called me and he said he partied too much, or maybe he won't start.
All right, okay.
No, I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ousmane should play. He should win the Ballon d'Or according to all the French people.
Oh, we're getting there as well.
Say. I've been hammered by his fans, on Instagram, because I didn't say that Ousmane Dembele should win the Ballon d'Or.
Why are you paying attention to Instagram?
No, it's just to tease.
Hey,
but whatever.
That's two Instagram references from Frank in one show. However, he did mention that it is being billed as Lamine Yamal against Ousmane Dembele, Ale.
Yeah.
It very much is. Lots of people are bringing their names up because of these two sides meeting.
Okay.
What do you answer to that?
Honestly, I think in maybe a handful of times, if any, in which Dembele and Lamine Yamal are actually facing up with each other on the field. They may not even be in the same vicinity. They may not even be around each other at all in this game. So this is not Lamine Yamal against Ousmane Dembele. It really isn't. And when we bring it down to that very sort of kind of it's you against me, and they're actually not playing against each other because they're in different parts of the field, we forget about the greatness of both of these teams, or the greatness of the potential of both of these teams. And it would be a huge mistake to do that.
Don't kill a good story. Don't kill a good story.
They may not even see each other on the field, Jan.
Well, they will see each other on the stage of Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
This
All
is the final.
This is
Let's
when they
build it
will
up. Let's
potentially
build
be
it up.
coming face to face.
Maybe they're going to headbutt each other in the tunnel. You don't know. They're going to start the game.
You know, they'll see each other in the tunnel, and that's it.
Jan, is this a decider? We keep asking, is this a decider? Is this a decider for who wins the Ballon d'Or?
You see, they don't care about it.
If we had Craig in the studio, he would say, I don't bother about Instagram, I don't bother about Ballon d'Or, but people do look after this Ballon d'Or, and in other countries more than others. And yes, with PSG, what they did in that final, I mean, you feel that it's got to be a player from there. And okay, then you go to Yamal, who is a young kid running around and being partly one of the best players in the world. Ooh, I'll have to wait for the game tomorrow and see how much
You know what that shows today? Is all about Lamine Yamal. You know, did you see some highlights about Ousmane Dembélé? No, we saw Lamine Yamal.
Exactly.
That's it. That's it.
Anti-French
They
sentiment.
already voted. They already voted.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
For somebody who doesn't care about the Ballon d'Or and says that doesn't care about the... Why are you so invested?
I love equality, so I wanted to see Ousmane Dembélé scoring goals. I didn't see. I saw only Lamine Yamal.
Égalité.
Égalité. Fraternité.
Égalité.
Voilà.
Jurgen, who's your pick of the two for Ballon d'Or?
Fabien Ruiz. Fabien Ruiz.
What about Cristiano Ronaldo scoring 3 goals?
Lionel Messi.
What are you going to do then?
Messi will win it. Messi will win it. They decided.
Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
There's a lot of fence sitting on today's show.
Okay, I'll make a decision. I would give it to Lamine Yamal.
Why?
Right. So you're invested in this decision then?
Yeah, because
Okay, well then why do you...
whatever you would have said, I would have said yeah. Why?
Okay, but let me ask you this. Then why didn't you step up and actually say a name? But no, all right, fine. I'll say it.
I say Dembélé.
And I'm going to say Lamine Yamal, and this is why. On the whole of the season, Lamine Yamal has been outstanding. The whole season.
He's been injured. For
He's
why?
not even been the best player of Barcelona.
He's been injured for a while. Doesn't count.
Are
Rafinha.
you done?
No. Okay. Sorry. I
Okay.
finished.
I was trying. You asked me why. I'm trying to tell you
No,
why.
she asked you why. Okay, go on.
When are you going home, Frank?
Tomorrow.
Okay,
That's why
good.
I'm excited. So I want to finish the job.
It could not come any sooner. In any case, as I was saying, when Lamine Yamal was out, as he was, Barcelona completely fell apart. Completely fell apart. It was not a coincidence that when Barcelona was not getting results, Lamine Yamal was sitting on the stands. It tells you and it shows you how much of the importance of the player. Why do I bring this up? And I don't want to take a shot at Ousmane Dembélé because I think he's been outstanding. But he's been an outstanding second half of the season for Ousmane Dembélé. It was not over the course of the whole season. The second half was outstanding. Best performance either in order to destroy and decimate and completely take apart Inter. This is not a shot at Ousmane Dembélé. I'm merely saying that if I compare what both teams have done without their star player on the field, Barcelona could not survive without Lamine Yamal.
Objection. Objection, Your Honor.
Jan, just
Okay,
one
Frank
second.
first.
1 second. So I'm going to play the Dan Thomas. So, so Ali is saying
You could
that
do better.
Lamine Yamal should get the Ballon d'Or because without him, his teammates were bad. That's what he's
Well
saying.
done.
He's just saying. This is what he's saying. It's just his argument was he wasn't there, so they were bad. So it's why he should get the Ballon d'Or. And Dembélé, because his friends or his teammates were good when he wasn't there, shouldn't get the Ballon d'Or. It's what he's. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You cannot deny that.
Hold on, that's how
I
you
agree.
understood that?
No.
That's how you guys
No, but
understood
Jan, you can go now. Jan, you can go.
There is a French guy sitting in USA. He have the same opinion as a Norwegian sitting in Norway. Because you said because the Barcelona players are so bad that he should get the Ballon d'Or because they can't cope without him. And he's not even, and you can be devil's advocate, and I can say that maybe he's not even the best player at Barcelona. Maybe Rafinha had a better season if you see the whole season. I just think when I saw that final, can you come up with a Ballon d'Or winner without being from PSG? The way they did that in the final, in the biggest final and the best team of the world.
So give it to Vitinha.
Yeah, if that's the
Everybody
case,
would agree.
if that's the case, then absolutely. I would give it to Vitinha. If that's the argument, if this is about the team performance,
Or Fabian Ruiz.
in an individual award, if it is about team performance, then give it to Vitinha.
No, giving to Fabian Ruiz. Fabian Ruiz won the European Championship and won the triple with Paris Saint-Germain.
Hey, you're arguing against yourself here.
So do you.
Well, you know, sometimes I don't
you.
agree with myself. That's true. And
Yeah,
most of the time,
Would you like to have a
I have a
final
debate
say?
with myself. You know, sometimes I'm in my hotel
As a
room.
voice of reason, Jürgen, would you like to have the final say here?
Yeah, Jürgen, please, the wise guy.
Yeah, my Ballon d'Or is Donnarumma.
I love it. Okay, that's the end of it. Thank you very much. See you
I thought
tomorrow.
we're having a serious conversation, Jürgen.
Okay. Jürgen, prediction tomorrow, Spain against France.
What happened with my paper?
I go with Spain 2-1.
Okay, so
Because
two mistakes in 1 minute. So
Two
well done,
mistakes
well
from
done, Jürgen.
Donnarumma.
Well, Jürgen, well done.
Jan?
If Donnarumma wins the Ballon d'Or, he has to keep a clean sheet tomorrow. That is point. No, Donnarumma is not so much involved, but I will say that I think that that Spain will win that game against France. I think they have been partying too much, some of the players, so I will go with Spain. And Yamal will be brilliant because he's so important for Spain.
And
as
deserve
Al
the
is
Ballon
saying.
d'Or.
So hold on a second.
Donnarumma is playing.
So in the final, in what you have called the final, Jan, of the Ballon d'Or, Spain win it, and somehow you're giving it to Dembele then?
Dembele. Dembele will win it. And Donnarumma is in Norway now. He's playing Friday here, so we'll see, Jürgen, if he's good enough.
That's the
Hopefully we'll
Viking
make a couple of
Scandinavian problem issues. We all have debates with ourselves,
Okay.
and can say the contrary of what we just say a minute after.
No, but I just have to say,
Spain or
Ali, I
France, who
didn't know
wins?
that.
Oh, I'll remain consistent. I'll pick Spain and I'll pick Lamine Yamal to win the Ballon.
Yeah, but don't forget that when Lamine Yamal doesn't play, and you don't know, maybe he's not going to play, Spain going to be bad.
One word,
because-
Spain or France?
But
France, of course.
Okay, 3 words.
But
anyway.
Kay, we just
we're
have
done.
to- we can't
FC
let Al
100,
off
ESPN FC 100 list is now out. You can see where the likes of Lamine Yamal, Mbappe, and of course Ousmane Dembele rank. This has been put together by our journalists and analysts. Go and check it out
Oh my
over
God.
on our website. Well, let's talk about Florian Wirtz and his future. He is strongly linked with a move to Liverpool this summer. However, Jan, it's not done yet.
No, but it's not done yet. Imagine a business corporation going to be sold for 150 million euro. It takes time. There are lawyers, there are details, there are sponsoring, there are a lot of things to need to be added up. The main thing for Liverpool fans to relax is that Florian Wirtz told Bayern, I'm not coming to Bayern, I go to Liverpool. He has told Liverpool he wants to play there, and they will find a solution. Bayer Leverkusen will look for that solution. Bayer Leverkusen are so happy that he won't play for Bayern, although that is a tradition that Bayern will get the best players in Germany. Florian Wirtz will end up at Liverpool. I'm not saying 100% because nothing in life is 100% before it's done, but this will be a great, great signing for Liverpool Football Club. And then we can discuss all summer where they're going to put him. Will they put him on the right? Will he play as a 10? Will he play as a 9.5? I don't care. This is a brilliant player. It's a great, great signing of Liverpool. And people can say, yeah, but they need a number 9. They need a goal scorer. Well, they have the goal scorer in Salah. Maybe they need a link-up player as a striker. But Florian Wirtz, if a Florian Wirtz is available, and you have the slightest chance to get him, you have to swim over the English Channel, run to Leverkusen and get that player. And Liverpool have done that. Big, big compliment to Liverpool Football Club.
It's funny that he has to already explain when he didn't sign yet that he doesn't want a number 10. He had
on his Instagram story.
Instagram story. He said, who I am to ask for the number 10. I never asked for that. McAllister, I think, asked the number 10 at Liverpool. And he didn't sign yet, but he already has to explain that he doesn't want a number 10. People are getting crazy in that world.
Yeah, there's reports out there, and he said, I respect players, don't believe everything that is written. However, what do you think of this potential move here for Florian Wirtz, Jürgen?
Well, I think it's very courageous. I'm not going to Bayern Munich, which is, as Yanagi said, it's the usual way to do it in Germany. No, he says, no, I'm going to go abroad. And going abroad is not only playing on the field, it's also living in a different place, speaking a different language, and a different lifestyle, and figuring things out day by day. And I think it's very courageous of Florian to do that so early in his career. I mean, on the pitch, I have no doubts that he's a fantastic player, and he will only get better.
But you know what? I don't know what you think about it, but and the guy maybe can tell me. I think Liverpool needs more Wirtz than Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, they have Musiala. There will be a double take with Musiala and Wirtz. I don't know how it's going to work, and it's not for me. It's kind of not possible for Bayern Munich to get Wirtz if they have Musiala. Where at Liverpool, you need a Musiala. They need somebody to create a little bit more in the middle of the park for me.
But still, from the perspective of Florian Wirtz, the comfortable move would have been to Bayern Munich.
Sure.
Now, the more ambitious move and the move that really sort of opens eyes is, no, I'm not going to take the obvious choice. I'm going to go over there. And the reason that I think Florian Wirtz is going to be successful wherever he goes, there is an attitude to Florian Wirtz. There's a nastiness to Florian Wirtz. There's an edge. In fact, in the most positive way, he is a little punk, right? In the most positive way. But that's how he plays the game, with that sort of aura of, give me the ball, and I don't care who's in front of me, who's around me, who's chasing me, who's trying to kick me. Nobody's stopping me. I see the game, and I feel the game the way that I want to see it and the way that I want to feel it. And he has the talent to back that up. That attitude is what I think is going to take him forward, because Florian Wirtz is not intimidated by the idea, oh my, is he going to be able to survive at Liverpool in the Premier League? He'll be just fine. He'll thrive in any environment that he's in.
Yes, you can keep. Go on then. Yeah, last point here.
No, I just to underline the point from Frank. I think when Team Wirtz had a look at the clubs, that he will see that the position at Bayern could be colliding a bit with Musiala. The two boys are good friends. It works in a national team. Yes, I see all of that. But at Liverpool, and that I agree. I love players taking on challenges. I mean, you can go to Madrid, you can go to Munich, you can stay in Germany. He goes to rainy Liverpool. He will go on a tour He will go on a tour with the Beatles bus. He will do anything. And this young kid from Germany wants to do that. I mean, a big compliment to the young lad.
Jan Fjotov took the risk to go to Middlesbrough.
Oh, that was quite the risk as well. But let's not talk about that right now. Just talking about if it were to be, and if it had been Bayern, though, Jurgen, would there have been room for both Musiala and Wirtz, or would he have had a fear that he wouldn't have played as regularly?
No, they wouldn't. They would have made space for him. Obviously, they would have made it work in some way or the other. Obviously, it's a different situation there with Harry Kane playing the 9, and then Musiala around, and they would have shared both wings basically. But it would have worked out. It's not a problem on the field. I think what Florian wanted is just something totally different. And obviously, Liverpool is a massive club and gives you a huge opportunity to win the Premier League, to play for the Champions League as well. And he was up for that challenge. And it's admirable, as Yanagi said. It's admirable for such a young player to say, you know what, I'm going to go abroad and I prove myself. But today, what didn't work out today in today's game was simply there was nobody backing him up. There was nobody protecting him. So they went at him, you know, in moments when the ball was gone. They gave him body checks and they were very physical with him. He got up, and at the end, he lost a little bit then also control and hit back. But I think when he is in a club or in a team where he knows there is a number 6 or 8 behind me, that they protect me in case they go after me all the time, it's a different ballgame, you know, and this is something that I'm sure that Liverpool will take care of.
Yeah, keep up to date with the moves in the transfer window and when it will be. Jan Fjotov says just a matter of time for Wirtz to Liverpool. You can keep up to date with all of it over on our Transfer Talk site on ESPN FC. To look back at the Champions League final.
We're still talking about this?
5-0 for PSG. And yes, it was a loss for the ages for Inter. And because we do have Jurgen Klinsmann with us, we wanted to get his thoughts on the display that we saw from his former team, Inter. Jurgen.
That's a tough one, to be honest. I was scared of that question. Coming back to the US, so I didn't know what to say in the stadium watching it, and it was very, very painful. With a lot of Inter people obviously suffering that night. Yeah, it is something that the sad part is it's something that will never get away from you as a player, as a coach. No matter how you continue your career, 5-0. I said Miroslav Klose was sitting next to me, and I said, Miro, at 3-0, I said, better stop it now. Just stop it. 3-0, okay. There were worse results, 4-0 in the 90s when AC Milan won a Champions League, or Barcelona as well, 4-0 results. So 4-0, maybe the maximum. But when the fifth goal came, it was painful. It was really, really painful, because this you're going to carry for the rest of your life. I mean, it's not going away. Even maybe if you win then 2 Champions Leagues in the near future. But this is something that is brutal, really brutal. And with all the respect and all the compliments to a fantastic PSG side that night, there was an amazing display. But it hurts the Inter family, the Inter fans, whoever played for Inter one time. It just hurts. And that was I was done for the night. I went back to the hotel. I didn't even want to go for a beer or something, which I usually do when I'm in Munich, at least. Yeah. But no, it was a tough one. It was a tough one to swallow.
That was a discussion and a debate we had with Ali and twice about the fact: do you prefer to lose 3-2 at the last minute of the game or 5-0? And how you go back home and how you digest those losses. And Ali thinks that it's better to lose 3-2. No, it's better to lose 5-0. And I thought that losing 3-2 the last minute gives you a little bit of pride and the way that you can talk about it. I think, as Jürgen mentioned, if you lose 5-0, you cannot talk about the final anymore. You want to avoid the discussion because you're so ashamed of it.
Yeah, Jürgen needs a hug. You're making this conversation about you. Jürgen needs a hug. You see how depressed he is?
Yeah, but I hugged him. But
he didn't even want a beer in Munich.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
I had 2 beers in West Hartford.
Jan, were you surprised by how big the defeat was for Inter?
Absolutely. I mean, Jürgen makes a good point of a reputation of a club, a brand of a club. Inter was always a team that was hard to break down. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were always being like this from the 60s. This is a brand of this club. Remember, Jürgen, when we played Inter with Rapid Vienna back in 1990, you were tough guys to play with, Bergami and all the likes of it. And this game, it was so unlikely, that kind of brand. It reminds me a bit of 2005 when AC Milan, with that great defense of theirs, suddenly managed to get 3 goals in the second half. And I mean, it was just so sad to see. And Jürgen needs a hug, because leaving Munich without the beer is tough. And the loss also.
Jürgen actually needs a double hug, because it's not only how they lost and the manner in which they lost, but the fact that Simone Inzaghi says, "Arrivederci, I'm going to go take the money in Saudi Arabia." And it's a double loss for Inter and what it means to have this manager leave the club.
Is it a double loss, Jürgen, or is it the right time for him to move on and they need a fresh start now after what we saw?
Well, I can only speak, obviously, for the fans, for the people that were there at the stadium. And it really felt like it needs a fresh start. It needs a fresh start. I mean, now imagine you walk around, losing 5-0 in the Champions League final it means like they put 5 tattoos on your body. And you're not getting rid of those 5 tattoos, obviously, if you have a tattoo. I don't have one, but it is so painful that whoever walks on now, whoever continues, it's really difficult, to rebuild the spirit within the team, just starting from the locker room to the people that work around the team, to the fans, to the people in Milan. This was so brutal. This defeat was so brutal that it goes really deep. And if it goes so deep, then I think they need a fresh start. They need a fresh start. And they obviously, the team, if you look at the age of a lot of players, they are above 30s, which should not mean anything. But, they have to rejuvenate the team. They have to come in with some ideas. They have to play maybe a little bit of a different style. Simone's probably biggest failure was that he could not even react to tactically to what was happening on the field. He just subbed out, position for position, and there was no way to get more attacking minded, to create some chances, to do something. They stick to their old game plan, of the 5-3-2, the two front men with With Lautaro and also with Marcus Thuram, we're not even there. I don't know, they were out for coffee or something, but they were not there that night. And it was ugly. It was really ugly. And that's why I think, for everyone that, likes or loves that club, and I had the best time of my life at that club. Not only good moments, also bad moments, but I think most of the people say, give us a fresh start.
Jurgen, I don't know if you know this, but I don't like beer at all. Really don't. I'll come and have a beer with you, Jurgen. You need it, baby. You need it.
He's very at the edge of the burnout,
Jurgen, but when you look back at what he did achieve, though, with the squad that he had, is that something for him to be proud of, to walk away with that in his mind?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely it is. He won 6 trophies. He won. He gave the crowds very special moments. Just look back just a couple of weeks, the quarterfinals against Bayern, the semifinals against Barcelona. That will always stay with him. They're very, very good moments, trophies that he did. So he absolutely can be proud of what he achieved also over the time period. But this is just like, it's just so heavy to take this result, 5-0, 5 goals, that he made the right decision. He made the right decision and said, guys, it's better if somebody new comes in and you start fresh again. And I think everybody needs that.
Let's talk about that, because obviously there's the Club World Cup coming up.
You want to keep asking him questions about Inter?
It's more about this fresh start, because who would you like to see come in? Cesc Fabregas has been linked with this position, or what type of coach would you like to see come in now at Inter?
Well, I don't think they have any need to decide that immediately, because the Club World Cup, even the interims coach can carry through the team through a couple of games for that competition. It's obviously an exciting competition, but I think they are not now under pressure to name somebody within the next few days. I think that could be done by the usual staff. It's only Simone that leaves now for the moment. And then you need somebody exciting. You need somebody that is positive, is maybe also, ready to make some changes tactically from their approach. They stick to a specific system for all these 4 years, which worked well. I mean, again, he won quite some trophies, but I think it's just time for a change.
Right, absolutely. There you go. No more questions about
No, you don't have to tell me. You tell Jurgen.
He went into depression.
Nothing.
If he wasn't there, he's there now.
Keep up to date with all the latest news from world football over on our YouTube channel, ESPN FC. And for Manchester City, finishing 13 points behind champions Liverpool and losing in the final of the FA Cup to Crystal Palace. Alois Garcia caught up with Pep Guardiola to discuss whether adjustments to his style are needed.
You've been a pioneer in a style of football that I think that may fall in love to a lot of people, me included. And after this season, do you think that it needs that kind of style, a little bit of a judgment, or it was more execution?
Well, it's always a good question. Always we want to copy-paste the last winner, right? But the last winner is the last winner. It's not the previous one, or maybe they're not the next one. Listen, in that that period that I start being a manager, I adjust many things year by year. I'm not the same manager training in the way I trained the first season, and to play the same way, and because there are incredible different aspects that are involved, especially the quality of the players that you have in your disposal in 1 year is completely different. And you train a player being single, and after we get married and after have a kid is completely different. And I'm not the same when I was 22 and now I'm 54 or 24 or 28. Of course you adjust, you're going to adjust, but not adjust for the fact that we lose. Because that will be poor. It's like you win, I don't have to adjust anything. It's a mistake. When you win, you have things, because how are you going to realize on that? Day by day, game by game, week by week. The players, how we arrive the holidays, how we arrive there in September. It may be different in February. So, of course, we are going to adjust something, but not for the fact that we just won the Community Shield. So it's not going to happen.
So regardless of what he's going to adjust for, is it right that this side does need to adjust their style under Pep Guardiola?
Well, look, he can keep whatever style he wants to. and whatever he feels most comfortable with and whatever he thinks his truth is. But it is the job of a manager at any level in the world, that when his team is on a free fall, and Manchester City were on a free fall, that there needed to be something different to stop the free fall. And then once you catch some momentum, once you start going in the positive direction, then once again you can go back to your principles and the things that make you a successful team. But this team, they needed a tourniquet. They needed to pump the brakes. This team was bleeding out, and Pep Guardiola was saying, nah, we're going to continue to do the same thing with the same group of players. And yeah, Mateus Nunes is going to play right back. What? Who's playing right back? Yeah, Nunes, out there. And he kept putting him out there. And those are decisions that the managers make. But it felt to me, I don't know about anybody else, but it felt to me that once you go on the free fall and it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, that it became far more about stubbornness. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going to listen to anybody. This is the way we do things regardless. It felt like stubbornness.
I'm 100% with Ali in that matter, because really, I know that Guardiola has been one of the most successful and smartest coach in the world for nowadays. But I found that there was a lack of reaction in that matter, where I was waiting for something special from him to make the result change, and it never happened. It was stubborn. We have to say he was stubborn in that matter, and it's why I was kind of critical towards him, where I always been the first one to say that he was the best coach in the world. But he didn't show us that he had another option. I would love to have that discussion with him to show me why he thinks he didn't have any other option, and why he had to stick to the way he was thinking, where, as you said, he was losing and losing and losing. I didn't get. So we're going to see next season if there is another way of winning.
Jan, has his style been overtaken by a more direct approach in the Premier League and in the Champions League?
I think it's a very interesting discussion, but I think we have to have some fact first that Pep also said in this interview. Because we have always said that he's played the Pep football since he started. The way he played when he was at Barcelona, when he played Bayern, he changed it a bit. Then he played with wingers. He had to adjust to Lewandowski. Then he came to City, he played his way. Then he wanted Kane, didn't get Kane. Then he get Erling Haaland. So he has been adjusted throughout. But for all big coaches, even for Pep Guardiola, now there are new kids on the block. We're talking about Cesc Fabregas. He's been 1 year at Coma, and now maybe he go to Inter. Arne Slot came from Holland. Nobody knew really what he stood for, winning the Premier League. In England, Eddie Howe win the League Cup. Crystal Palace win the League Cup. Things are changing around us, and you have to adjust. That was what Sir Alex Ferguson always managed to do. That was what Wenger managed to do for 2/3 of his period at Arsenal. I think I take it down. I understand what the boys in the studio are saying, but I think that we are going into the land of cliches as well, because I think that with Manchester City this season, there was more a matter of bad recruitment. I think that they took on wrong players. You have two wingers that haven't crossed the balls for 2 years. I mean, that is nothing to do with Pep's way of playing. Yes, I take Al's point that maybe in there, I don't think that was stubbornness. I think, and I follow, I'm not saying that because I've seen a lot of the Manchester City live this season, but I think there were times this season that Pep Guardiola started doubting himself. Because he is a human being. Yes, he's a super coach, one of the best ever, but he started doubting what to do. He saw that the players he took on weren't good enough. So he had to make changes. They didn't work out in so many games. And even at the beginning of the season, when everybody said they were so good, there were some lucky results in there. And so I think that the analysis of the downfall of Manchester City this season started with a bad preseason, bad recruitment. And at the end of the day, if you see the last 10, 12 games, I think Manchester City maybe had the most wins in the Premier League. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. Last thought goes with you then, Jurgen, on Pep Guardiola and the changes that we may see to his style next season.
Well, I think in general, I mean, it's a wonderful discussion to have. I think a manager always trying to adjust himself to the player material that he has at his disposal. And so you're trying to make the best out of every single player in order to kind of put the puzzle together to make the best team possible there. Obviously, a personality like Pep Guardiola has his own ideas, his own brand, his own way of doing things, and he's trying to kind of meld that together. And obviously it went so well over so many years that there's a year or two here and there that things don't go perfectly. And maybe your players go through difficult times individually, personally, and you have to make adjustments. And I think he's always been a coach that is able to make an adjustment. But then there are coming also moments, periods where Alejandro also said, you know, where you feel from the outside there's a little bit of stubbornness. You know, it has to be this way now, the other way doesn't work. But I think managers live throughout their careers by making adjustments, because this player generation constantly changes. You know, there's so much going on in the lives of the players today, much more than 20, 30 years ago. So you have to be always open-minded. You have to be always alert of how players basically live their lives and how they perform in the way, you know, they perform best for the team. And then you have to constantly work on this bigger puzzle to hopefully make it all work. But the work of a manager nowadays is so, it's so complete, it's so complex that you cannot compare it anymore with the work of coaches 20 or 30 years ago.
Okay, have you mentioned, just to finish, that Ian, when he named some new coaches, you know, coming out, didn't mention Enzo Maresca winning the Conference League and finishing fourth with Chelsea.
All right. Okay.
That's just what I want to say.
But did you just feel like you had to participate and that's what you came up with? Maresca
No,
and
it's
Chelsea?
just to finish a
You
segment.
didn't have to say anything. We could have just moved on.
You know what? We're just going to say goodbye to Jurgen. Thank you for bringing your cards to the panel.
Jurgen, we
tonight,
say goodbye.
Jurgen.
Thank
And
you.
you do deserve a beer.
Yeah, have a beer. Have two.
Tonight.
2 beers.
We love you, Jurgen. We love you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Jurgen. We'll speak to you soon. Oh. Yes, make sure to keep up to date with us every single day on ESPN FC, and to keep up to date with what happens in the game between Spain and France tomorrow. And of course, more of that interview from Pep Guardiola with Luis Garcia will be dropping, so be sure to check it out. And you can also keep up to date with everything that's going on in TST tournament right now, the soccer tournament, where we've been seeing Concaifa, Pat McAfee's side, in action.
Concaifa.
We've got the man of the moment when I think Concaifa, I think the ESPN family, Pat. So a little bit of pressure once again. How are you feeling ahead of this one against Bournemouth?
I'll tell you what, I feel fantastic, especially with you kicking ass out here for all of us. It's a beautiful time to be in Cary, North Carolina. And last year we had no idea what this tournament was. Had a lot of confidence for no reason because we didn't know what we were signing up for. This year, we got a great squad. We got good vibes. We got good energy, and we got a lot of talent. Tony Meola's back better than ever. Tab Ramos, assistant coach. Gumpy, assistant coach. And general manager Mike Foss has really put this thing together well, and I feel good about our chances. I feel like we win by 4 to 5 goals every game.
4 or 5 goals. Well, general manager Mike Foss actually used to be my boss at ESPN, so we're going to see exactly what you guys can do, the talking on the pitch.
Yeah, we got a good squad. I'm really pumped up. Wait till you see the Arena League boys this year. I mean, you thought they were wild last year. Feels like they've upped it up a notch. We're ready to get started.
All right, ready to get started, Tony.
Concave.
It's a good start. It's a good start. We're just getting the tournament going.
Getting it going.
Get the legs going.
Yep, our
a little bit of
Alexis Nunes is going to be
confidence.
there for us. This is what's coming up on
So is this who we're rooting for? We're rooting for Concaifa?
Yeah, that's who we're rooting for.
Is that our team?
That's our team.
Okay.
That is our team.
Oh, they play Wrexham.
Yeah, Wrexham Red Dragons. Yeah, make sure to.
Are we not supposed to support Wrexham as well?
No, Concaifa now, all right?
Pick a team.
All right, pick a team, LA. Pick a player for the Ballon d'Or, LA.
Wrexham is in Hulu as well, so I'm just saying.
Stick around, Extra Time's on the way with
Corporate
these guys who are in
identification.
fine form tonight. Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. I do fear for today's edition. I trust you, LA, but then we've got Frank and Jan on the same show.
Ah, true.
Does often spiral into some madness.
Yeah,
I have some good news. Kay,
Yes?
I have some good news. Just back from wedding in Italy. My oldest son got married to an American girl from Kansas. Fantastic days. I'm emotionally wrecked. I've been crying for 4 days. I just want to warn you that I'm in a romantic mood tonight.
You were crying because your daughter was getting married.
My
No,
son
your son
was getting
married to an
Yeah.
American girl. That's why you were crying.
No,
I'm kidding.
it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Where did they get married, Jan?
On the heel in Italy, Maturia, Matundia, I think it is. Yeah.
It
was great.
Congratulations.
Oh, how
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's what I was looking for.
Congratulations, Jan. We're all very proud
How
of you.
many beers?
I sent
More than
them to Jürgen. I sent them to Jürgen.
Okay, let me see if I've got the questions here for you guys tonight.
So you're not ready yet?
I'm not ready yet. Oh, I am now. Okay.
Okay, good.
For as much as you all poo-poo the Nations League, the players on the pitch are giving their all and the stadiums are packed. Perhaps it means more than you all think.
Who is
Yeah.
you all? Who is you all?
Y'all.
Who's
Y'all.
who are
Y'all.
these? Who's y'all? Yeah, now that your daughter-in-law is American, you better get used to y'all.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. But,
yeah.
but first of all, okay, the Nation League is a tournament that never stops. It just keeps on and on and on. But to be fair to the Germans, when we saw the game today, it was a fantastic game. It was a sellout crowd, and the Germans have been doing very well to sell in this tournament. They call it a mini Euro. Tomorrow we have France-Spain. It's going to be a fantastic football game. So I think that this worth something for them. There is not many international tournaments you can win. So, I mean, we have one in the studio today who's won the World Cup, of course. But this is a tournament that I think that kind of built in reputation. So I think that is a good thing.
Yeah, but you know, what I remember from my days, you know, every time we played a national team game against another national team, it was packed and we gave 100%. It was what we call friendly games.
Yeah.
But national league games, when you play for your country, it's never a friendly game. So you always get the pride out when you play, and it's what the players are doing right now. Yeah, there is a trophy at the end. Maybe it's a little bit more competitive, but I don't really think so. When you play, and I went to play to Chile, it was packed, and we played there, and we played 100%. We played to Australia. It was the same. That was a kind of a competition because you play for your country.
And if I may, this perception that the Nations League may not be important to some, it emanates and comes from people, and there are some that sit in this studio and say exactly this, that they don't really care much for international competition to begin with, or national team competition.
Exactly.
I love national team competition. I don't mind that we take a break from the leagues and actually have France play against Spain or Germany play against Portugal. I like watching those games. Now, I know that I'm in the minority here in the studio most of the time when it comes to that stuff, because there is this whole idea that unless the Premier League is not playing this weekend, that is not worth following, then it's not worth watching the matches. The truth of the matter is I, Alejandro Enrique Moreno Riera, I like watching.
Too many names.
Like watching international football.
The good thing about that,
And Frank Allen, James Lubbock think the same.
Yes.
that is
Kay Louise
the
Murray
point
would like
is-
to know what you've got to say, Jan Agafiotta.
Yes, Kay, Andrea Murray. I will. No, I 100% agree with Al. Let's not forget in all these kind of commercialization of football, the great leagues, the great personalities, the big investors. To play for your country is the greatest honor. Look behind me. I have the Norwegian shirt. We love to play for our country. Can you imagine on Friday, Norway is playing at home against Italy? I mean, we can only get 30,000 into the stadium. We can sell 100,000.
Yeah, of
People
course.
are so enthusiastic about this game. Could we finally come to a World Cup again? And yes, the Nation League is the same. You saw Cristiano Ronaldo now. He is 40 years of age. He's running like a 30-year-old around on the pitch, scoring his 137th goal for Portugal. That means something to you. After your career, you can say you have so and so much money on your account, but show me your caps. Show me how many times you played for your country. And imagine, Frank, he won the World Cup for his country. Wow, 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 wow.
You don't have to say
have
anything.
good
Just
stuff.
take it.
No, I will
Just take it.
I take it.
Yes.
Someone other than you said it as well, which is amazing.
Yes. Which
Yeah.
is usually not
I didn't
the case.
force him to say it. That's crazy.
Just
I didn't
accept
even.
He said it on his own.
How much?
On his own.
Send me the bank
right.
details, Ian.
I will.
Ale, who did you learn to dive or draw fouls from?
Well, first of all, you have to have it in the blood. It has to be in you. I must say, I couldn't tell you exactly who it was, but I do know that growing up, it was part of the culture with which we grew up as players. And as an attacking player, it was our way of
Cheating.
You say that, but
Were you a
say
positive
that.
punk?
Yes, I was a positive punk. It was retribution to defenders.
Yeah.
It was my way or our way to. They can get away with things. Maybe I can get away with things.
That's fair.
And so I'll play on the fringes of legality. I play on that gray area. And if I can push that line, and that helps my team win, then I could not care less what anybody else's opinion is. I would, whatever was necessary for my team to win, I was willing to do.
I think for me, the king of the king in that matter was for me Pippo Inzaghi. I never played against him, and good for me because I would have been sent off, and good for him because I think he would have gone to the hospital. Because I couldn't stand that. The guy was, how do you say? Faking all the time. That was amazing. But sometimes the people, why did you become actor? He said, because I played against and with Italian players. It's how you learn how to pretend and to act.
Well,
But first of
With
all,
all due respect, because I love the subject.
Go ahead, Jan. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, Ali, okay. Now, I just want to say, when I came to England, that was in 1993, and I did it occasionally. I mean, I love that Ali is so open about that. If he did that in Europe, he would be burned on the marketplace. But okay, he's honest about it. I remember when I came to England, in the second game I played against Liverpool, against Neil Ruddock. For those who don't remember him, have a look at YouTube. He ate you for breakfast. And he came over to me and he said to me, if you do that again, I will probably knock you so hard that, and I stopped. I stopped at that moment doing that. And also a funny thing in the 90s in England, it was only the foreigners who dived. Yeah, but there were so many English doing the same. But when the English did it, that was a proper way of doing it. Yeah, they were always foul. Yeah, Ask Jürgen Klinsmann. Jürgen Klinsmann came over with a reputation of diving, they said.
Oh, that was true.
I did, yeah, and then he scored for Tottenham. He made a dive. I think that was perfect answer for Jürgen, because Jürgen didn't do that. I think that Al explained it very well, because you couldn't see always what the defender did in your back. To hold your shirt, keep you in your Achilles, kicking you and all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, one, I wasn't an out-and-out diver. I drew fouls. First.
It does say that in the question.
Yes. Second, Jan just put a name on it right there. One of the players that I now remember watching and seeing how he was able to draw fouls was Jürgen Klinsmann. And let me just tell you, Jürgen Klinsmann is not from Caracas, Venezuela. He's not from Barquisimeto like I was. No. He's from Germany.
Yeah, we play in Monaco in Inter Milan.
All right, okay. Right.
It rubbed off on
and all I can tell you is that he was very good about.
That's true.
Withstanding
but he was one of the
challenge.
Best strikers in the world as well.
Withstanding the challenge, feeling that contact. It's like, my advantage is now gone. Why am I going to fight through this? No need for me to do this.
I played against him, and he was very clever.
Yeah,
how
absolutely.
to use your body to make sure you're going to contact him. That was perfect.
And that was the key.
What about your friend, Frank? What about your friend Alan Shearer when he pushed into you always first?
That was more him kicking the defenders.
Exactly.
By the way,
exactly.
What you just said there, Frank, using your body to tempt the defender into a foul, that was the key to it all.
Sure.
Now, full disclosure, speed wasn't my strength. Oh. It was not my asset, right? And so I needed that contact. And I would invite the defender, here's the ball, come and get it. The moment he was about to come and get it, then I would put my sizable backside between me and the defender. He would bump into me, I'm going down to my knees, I'm getting the foul, and we're moving on with our lives.
It's why sometimes I get upset with the commentators where they say, oh, there is a contact. But who conducted the contact? That's the thing for me. And most of the time, especially nowadays, you see strikers trying to initiate the contact to make sure that people get, oh, there was a penalty. But sometimes you don't do anything. They go to your legs, they make sure there is a contact, and the ref gives a penalty where, in fact, they initiated the foul.
We teach that on Fridays at the diving camp.
Yeah, exactly.
Kay, can you imagine Al coming to Ayerson Park in, say, end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, and do a couple of dives, and then afterward explain what he did now? Wow, he would be in the riverside.
He would be leaving limping.
Again,
He would.
Again, not diving, drawing fouls.
Drawing fouls, okay.
Okay.
Jan, is the Mbappe-Haaland era over already? I hear people talking about Doué and Yamal so much, I think it might be.
It hasn't even started. I mean, Erling Haaland, in a season when Manchester City were bad, he didn't get one cross, they didn't take one counter, he scored 31. Mbappe, of course, a failure. Is it 40 that he scored for Real Madrid? Yes, there always come new players, but Mbappe and Haaland will be around the Ballon d'Or or the Champions League trophy for 10 more years to come. So definitely no. N-O.
The skills are different. I mean, you can put Mbappe, Lamine Yamal, and Doué and Dembélé together. Haaland is different. That will be the amount of goals that he's going to score. We're going to make him Ballon d'Or. If we are...
You're still talking about the Ballon d'Or.
Again and again. Yeah, well, that's the question, I guess. But we're going to talk about Haaland next year if they win the Premier League, and he's going to score 40, 45, 50 goals. Because he hasn't got the skills of the others, but he has the cleverness of scoring many, many goals.
Okay. Next question. Dembélé was able to showcase the Champions League trophy at Roland Garros. When you won a trophy, where was the coolest place you were able to take the trophy, Frank?
Oh, in the nightclub in Paris. I swear, we didn't go anywhere with the trophy. No, we went to do the news at 1 p.m. in Paris live. But after, the only place we went to was a nightclub all together with the trophy. That's it.
That's it. MLS Cup, Saleh?
Well, I was a family man, Kay. I went home. I did not know where this trophy went after we won it. I can't recall, one of the two. One of the two. I'm not a drinker, I'm not a partier, so I went home, I think.
Oh, you're so boring.
All right.
Okay.
Come on.
You want me to explain to you exactly what happened?
It's not.
I said I think.
He thinks.
I think.
All right. This question for you now, Jan. With Florian Wirtz's performance today against Portugal, should Bayer Leverkusen hold out for the reported 170 million transfer fee? Should Liverpool pay the fee to get Wirtz?
Well, first of all, they will pay the fee, and we're not 100% sure what the fee will be now. What we were told, it was the Bayern concern said that they wanted 150 million euro for the kid going to Bayern. That was to go from a German club to another German club. Mm-hmm. I think that he will be not cheaper, because in those kind of numbers you can't say cheaper because it's unbelievable high anyway. They will find an agreement. We've seen lately that there have been players been linked to go the other way. Kelleher went, but now Kelleher were one of the candidates. Didn't happen. Elliott didn't happen. But I think they will agree on that. I expect him to be a bit cheaper than 150 that they wanted for Bayern, because I think they will give Liverpool a reduced price for not having him in Germany anymore.
Okay. Last question is for me and you, Jan. I'll let you have it. Who would you like to see take over for Carrick at Middlesbrough? Michael Carrick has departed from Middlesbrough today.
Yeah. Did he depart today?
Dyche, yes. Steve Cooper, Rob Edwards, Tom Cleverley, Gerrard, Rooney, etc. Anyone in mind, Frank? Jan?
That I've seen all the candidates. Did we see the candidates there? Yeah. Steve Cooper was in Norway today, coincidentally, and I spoke to the guy who saw him to teach the Norwegian coaches, and they were very impressed by him. But I would like to get us up. I would like to get us up, and I would like Sean Dyche. Get him in there, get him up. UK, tell me.
Carlo Ancelotti.
Okay.
Ancelotti?
You have Inzaghi if you want, he's free.
I'd take him. We'll take him in Middlesbrough.
Okay.
We'll show him a good time. All right. Thank you so much for sending in your questions on the latest edition of Extra Time. We will be back tomorrow to do it all over again. See you there.